Good morning, YouTube. I'm gonna come over here and talk for a minute about. I just ran across a lot of videos about single black mothers, black on the problems they have with raising men and so forth. Anyway, so I come across all these videos, and there are a lot of negativity about these black women having all these babies and not having husbands. And so, as a gay man, I just kind of avoid the subject because the big difference between gay men and straight men and women is that we don't get pregnant. So I think it's wrong for us to comment about these girls getting pregnant and so forth, but it's not our issue. I mean, if gay men got pregnant, can you imagine how many, particularly when, anyway, there's a whole different thing, but it's wrong for us, I believe, or we just sound shut the hell up commenting on these straight people about the issues they have because we don't get pregnant. If we were able to get pregnant, I mean, I'd probably have 40 kids in here, and people I know could have in the hundreds. So we need to shut up about that. Don't criticize women because basically, if it weren't for single black mothers raising children, a lot of us wouldn't exist. I mean, yeah, literally. When you think about it, when I was a kid, people would talk about their grandparents had 16 kids, and some of them would be in the 20s. Even when they stay together with the father, just treats tremendous amounts of children. That was a different era. I mean, now it's a woman has 3 kids and she's a single mother. We give her hell for being a single mother. But those single mothers back in the day, I say back in the 30s, 40s, them people would have, it was nothing to have 12 kids. It was never, and then because they had 12 kids, and some of them had 18 kids, 16 kids, these women, a lot of times the man was in the picture, and sometimes he was, most of the time he wasn't in the picture. But if they didn't have all them kids, we would not be the minority we are today. We wouldn't be 10% of this country population. So, I mean, the families that that we imagine as the perfect families with a mother, a father, and a few kids, 2 point something or other, or 3 kids. It's a great model, but it's just not our reality. A lot of it has to do with simple money. A lot of these guys, they get with these girls. They're in their little love or puppy love, whatever. They have sex. They have children. Now we are going to have to be a lot more responsible about that. But they have these kids, and they had the best of intentions. But when he started realizing what it is to be a father, because a lot of times he's had no model of being a father, the responsibilities of being a father, it's overwhelming for a lot of brothers. I'm from a background where I went to prison many times. I hear the conversations. The responsibility is overwhelming, and a lot of times the guy just won't hang around because she's angry with all of her issues. He is struggling because trying to provide for a family and be there with the woman, it's a mess. Trying to form a family, with these kids, no support. There's no support. Most of the time, it's not going to end well when these kids are having babies at the young ages. So why should we be angry with the woman? Because if it wasn't for the woman, we simply would not exist. I wouldn't exist. If my mother could walk away and leave, I wouldn't exist. Most of the people I know wouldn't be here. They're very critical of the black woman. But if it wasn't for the black woman, our race would have just perished because there's so few of those beautiful families we talk about. I mean, I'll just talk about what I know about. So my family, my mother got pregnant at 17 years old. A guy took off. It wasn't their plan that she would get pregnant and so forth. So they were irresponsible by having sex. But I, she said she was a virgin, but I'm sure she was pretty close to 17. And then I was born, you know. She got him, realizing her situation. She did get married. I was a baby. I was one. I'm not going to bore you with this whole story. I can't go through my whole life story every time I want to talk about something because it's the same story. But uh, basically, she married a guy. He ended up being a violent, a wife beater. And she tried. You wonder why would a woman stay with that? Because they're still struggling for trying to fulfill this perfect family that we all tend to agree should be. But what happens when a man is knocking you around? What choice do you have? She tried it for 8 years. They had two more children, and she's a single mother. Well, it's because she didn't try. She tried to work it out. Uh, the guy is dead now, so I don't mind talking. I didn't mind talking about when he was alive, but I'm sure he was overwhelmed with responsibilities of being a father because he didn't know what being a father was. He just got pregnant, and then there they were. So anyway, I said all that to say I'm not going. I'm going to try to not go back into my own personal story every time I try to talk about something. But I do know this. I'll just speak about this part. My grandmother had 9 children. Well, that was considered a pretty low number. But if those women back in those days didn't continue to have children, we wouldn't exist. We would not be the percentage in America that we are. We would probably be 3% instead of 10%. We would have no power. There would be no Barack Obama. He was raised by a single parent. So I mean, sure, yeah, it's so hard to talk about. So hard to talk about because I'm so removed from it by being a gay man. But I am a product of single motherhood. I mean, I turned out okay. I did end up in trouble. I did end up on drugs and stuff like that because I ended up in trouble because basically I could never make a living. I think it's a big part of it. When these white dudes, when they go to college, they get their general education. They're used to that. They came from a family with mother and father, and they go to school, and they come out of school getting a decent job, and they're able to support a family, support a wife, and things like that. All that plays into it to why they stay with their families. Many times these families, mother and father, they're able to help the kid. They it's expected that they would send them to college, pay for their education. When they get out, a lot of times those kids will move in with their family or whatever it takes until they're able to save enough money to buy a property, and then you know she has a family. They're able to help them get started. They have a lot of support. So what happens when you don't have any support? You've just gotten pregnant. A lot of these women, they want love. They want to be loved. They want to have the responsibility of a woman. So they want kids, and a lot of times they try to make those marriages, those relationships work. It takes two to tango. A lot of those guys, and I know a lot of those guys that are in prison now, they wanted to make it work, but they were not equipped to make it work. You know, so in my case, I ended up selling drugs because I'd never been able to support myself. I'd never been able to make any money. The jobs were always shit. You know, so you kind of fall in love with the streets, and I don't think this is going to be published. I'm just jumping all over the place, but I just hate to see these women criticized and so forth. I mean, you do the best you can with what you got. I'm sure they would love to have, but ain't nobody gonna have no man around who is womanizer or violent, especially particularly if they're violent. And many times we will never seem to want to take the responsibility that many of these men are violent towards women. They are. They just are. It's just reality. They just are, and you can't make that work. You're considered a goddamn fool if you try to make it work. And these women, they go back and they get a few more blows, and eventually they come to the conclusion that relationship is not going to work. He can't get a decent job. I mean, he's always struggling, trying to provide for the family. He does it as long as he can do it. And then when it ends in failure, or he feels like his life is ended in failure, they become violent. So it's just it's so complicated. It's so complicated as to why we're stuck in this situation. But don't be critical just of the black woman because she has children. These women have taken on tremendous responsibilities, just feeding us and just giving birth to us. We would not be here. Many of us in the black community would not exist without single black mothers. If she had not stayed, struggled, you know, got help where she could, worked full time, trying to raise these damn children. And y'all know y'all bad. Y'all know you're some badass children because you don't have the supervision. You know, it's just a different kind of family, but it's still a family. And the black woman is why we're here. Single black mothers are why we're here. So let's not be so hard on them for doing the best they can with what they have. Sometimes I see these kids out on the street. I see these girls with these uh, baby strollers struggling to get them on the bus. You know, there's 2 or 3 children. It's sad, and you're sad. And he comes walking up behind her. And he's not even helping her with the damn cart because he's doing his thing on the phone, and his pants are down around the middle of his ass. So I can look at that dude and say he's not gonna be there. That's not a father. They got pregnant. I understand both sides of that. I mean, he's not gonna be there, honey. I'm sorry. And she's gonna struggle and try to fulfill his needs, desperate that it will work. She can't make it work. It's just sad. But the woman is ends up being usually the only thing solid in the relationship. I mean, she's what makes it work. She's the one that stays there with those kids. She's the one that finds housing. She's the one that is struggling her whole life, and she wants to be loved. Of course, she wants to be loved. She wants a man, but it's not just her. The man. You got to be. How hard is it to find a good black man who has the capacity to educate himself, make a good living, and stay and stick, and not just be out fucking everybody? I don't know how that plays into it, but it's pretty hard to find one of those. So she raises her kids, and we exist. We go on. You know. So anyway, I'm all over the place with this. I don't have the answers to this, but let's not beat up on the one stable piece in this whole thing, which would be the black mother. The mother. She's the one that sticks and stays. She does all the hard, heavy lifting. She does the work to ensure that we exist. People go in the corner and criticize her, keep your legs closed, and all this kind of stuff. Big subject. Huge, huge, huge subject. But ladies, I'm with you. I know you have to do the best you can. Don't let nobody no one abuse you. Just to have a man. Sometimes it doesn't work. But I just thank you for being there, staying there, sacrificing your life and your little dreams to raise these kids. You know. Anyway, so I have added absolutely nothing to this conversation except to say, let's honor and respect these mothers. Respect what they have done, what they've done the best they can, and that's why we're here. Imagine if they didn't do the best they can, we just wouldn't exist. Many, 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 many of us wouldn't exist. If those when black people back in the 30s and 40s weren't having 10, 15 kids, where would our race be? The numbers. Watch the numbers. Yeah, we're a mess. We got problems, issues, but it's getting a whole lot better than it was. And we the man needs support in how to be a man, how to step into that role for the long haul. Women need to understand that she has to maybe limit them, use birth control, do the best you can, but at least she's there to take care of these kids. Okay, so I don't know if this video is going to make it to the air or not. I know it's sloppy as hell, and I do have the best of intentions. I'm trying to speak on the subject, but it's hard, very hard, very hard. It just pains me to see these women so harshly criticized when they do a lot of the heavy lifting. And there's a reason we're here. These single mothers. They gave up, threw your ass in the can somewhere, or aborted you. How would that make it better? It wouldn't make life any better. We wouldn't be a part of life. But many of us. So they've done something pretty tremendous. We got to honor them. Okay, I can't unravel this. I don't have answers, but I'm not going to criticize you. And I just thank you for being mothers, for being there, being the consistent part, being the one who put food on the table, being the one who brings money into the house, being the one who gets the house, who sticks and stays. I honor that. You not shouldn't be the one to criticize. Criticize the ones who are not stepping up, or not, or who are not doing their part. She's doing her part. She's there. Of course, women have issues. Hell, it's hard living. Hard living makes issues. Shit. But at least they're there. All right.